Why should you trust this random girl with a hoodie on the internet? Well, my name is Amuta. I am a research tenured associate professor of public health, and my research is very focused on health disparities. And I have consulted with a couple of institutions on what to look for when they review diversity, equity, and inclusion statements. And so, keeping it short, to understand how to write your statement, you have to understand what these words mean. Diversity in the context of university admissions refers to admitting people with a variety of characteristics and identities. I know a lot of people think of race and ethnicity when you think of diversity, but diversity is more than race and ethnicity. It could be so many other facets. So you can write in the comments what diversity means to you outside of race and ethnicity. So inclusion or inclusiveness is about creating a learning environment where all people feel valued, all people feel safe, and really free to be their best. Equity aims to acknowledge these unequal starting places that students bring into the program and commit to correcting the imbalance. Hey, so jumping in to say that you can have diversity and not have inclusion. So you can admit a diverse range of students, but if you treat them in a marginalized way, then they don't feel included. You can also have diversity and inclusion and not have equity. So if a diverse range of students are admitted and they are not marginalized, but their background, their barriers, the nuance they bring, just the issues they bring with them to the program, if those are not taken into account during the educational process, then there's no equity. Okay, and so as a student, you're thinking about the fact that what positivity do you bring to this situation? Okay, because think about it, you're gonna have students in your class that are very different from you. How are you going to be inclusive? How are you going to contribute to equity? You're going to have group assignments with students. You're going to with other people in your class who are very different from you. How are you going to acknowledge some of these issues in class? And so those are things to think about when you're writing your statements. Just wanted to jump into this real quick. I want to advise you to structure your DEI statement in 3 paragraphs. Your first paragraph should include what diversity means to you, what equity means to you, what inclusion means to you. And I want to encourage you to add some sort of personal experience or personal story to that first paragraph to just humanize your statement. Your second paragraph should include how you prioritize DEI in your daily life, at work, at home, with your kids, with your friends, with strangers. How have you prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion in your everyday life? And so you could describe how you create an inclusive environment. You could talk about advocating for racial equity and fighting for social justice. Maybe you joined a peaceful demonstration against social injustice. You can write that down. In your paragraph 2, make sure you include specific dates and times. That makes your examples more concrete and believable. Maybe you helped the LGBT community in some way, in some fashion, put that there. So however it is that you have really worked to be inclusive, to promote diversity and equity, just your paragraph 2 should encompass that. Refrain from using terms like, I have Black friends, I have Asian friends, I have white friends, or, I love all people, because that's not practical. So make sure that your examples for paragraph 2 are very, very practical and concrete. Your paragraph 3 should answer the question, how do I envision my commitment to DEI moving forward? So remember, your paragraph 1 is your definition of the terms and some kind of personal experience. Your paragraph 2 is what you're currently doing to promote DEI. Your paragraph 3 should talk about the future of DEI. And so in this paragraph, you explain how you would continue your DEI efforts. And, one thing I want to encourage you to do is really research some trainings, some DEI trainings. In fact, your institution, your university may have a diversity and equity DEI office, a diversity, equity, and inclusion office. And those offices typically have trainings, they have programs for students. So talk about how you want to get involved in these programs. Talk about maybe even Google, search for training, DEI training programs, and talk about how you want to be involved in this program. Because the thing is, DEI is a never-ending work, right? So you never arrive at the most. Like, I'm learning, and I consider myself pretty experienced with DEI, and so we never stop learning. Okay, and so that's what your paragraph 3 should really talk about. Like, the fact that you're never going to stop learning. Yes, you've done all of those amazing things in paragraph 2, but what else do you want to do? So really focus on talking about how you will do more and how you will continue to learn and equip yourself to be better, to be more understanding. And so, you can also talk about maybe starting an initiative in the school, in the program. You can be innovative, you can be a pioneer. If the institution you are applying to doesn't really have anything on campus. But I would say most programs, most universities have some kind of diversity, equity, and inclusion department now. Or not department, more like program. 3 guys to think about when you're writing your DEI statement. Be authentic, don't lie, don't make up stuff, be authentic. If you feel like, wow, there's more I need to do between now and when you submit your DEI statement, try to do something, try to get involved, try to do whatever it is, so that when you write your DEI statement, you're not lying or making up things, right? So try to use inclusive language as much as possible. Think about being as inclusive as possible in your language. So a good example would be, instead of using disabled, you can use differently abled. That would just be one example for you. But you can think of other examples and that can help you be more inclusive in your language as you write your DEI statement. And number 3, be specific. So be specific, meaning make sure you have dates, times, events. When you, especially for your paragraph 2, when you talk about some of the things you're doing right now, you want to make sure that you're specific in your dates and times, what exactly you have done. Try not to be vague, because when you're vague, you come off like you're lying, or, you just don't come off as being authentic. And so make sure that you are as specific as possible. As you include specific examples in your paragraph 2 and maybe even your paragraph 1 or throughout your statement, make sure that you are being concrete with your examples. So in conclusion, your DEI statement is not a big philosophical document, okay? It is very practical and very concrete. It should be an evidence-based account of your growth, your best practices, your ability, and your potential. And so I hope you're able to write a good DEI statement. If you need me to review your DEI statement, I would include a link to my services in the description box, and you can definitely check that out. I would be so honored to serve you and help you get into grad school. All right, ciao. Have a